Good morning, SMI. Our word for this morning's devotion is found in Jeremiah 44 verse 16, and it says, "As for the word that you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord, we will not listen to you." Let's backtrack a little bit. In the previous chapter, Jeremiah denounced those who fled Judah to escape the prophesied Babylonian invasion. God told the remaining people of Judah not to go down to Egypt for security reasons or provision. The Lord said that if they stayed in the land, God would protect and establish them. He will save and rescue them from the Babylonians. But the Jews proceeded anyway with their plan in clear defiance of God's command. In chapter 44, Jeremiah addressed their continued practice of worshiping other gods, specifically the Queen of Heaven. In Egyptian culture po, the Queen of Heaven was known as the Canaanite goddess of fertility, Ashtaroth. Idolatry was one of the sins that provoked God to judge Judah and send the nation into exile. Unfortunately, idolatry was not a passing trend. It was an established lifestyle that had been going on for more than a generation during those times. The pursuit of other gods exhibited their open resistance to Jeremiah's message. Their arrogant response to Jeremiah in the verse we just read, again in 44 verse 16, says, "As for the word that you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord, we will not listen to you." God sent many other prophets aside from Jeremiah to appeal those worshiping false gods. Because God hates idolatry. Clear na sinabi sa Exodus 20 verse 3, "You shall have no other gods before me." And elsewhere in the Bible like Matthew 4:10 and Luke 4:8 to name some. The Lord demands exclusive covenant loyalty. As the one true God of heaven and earth, He cannot and will not tolerate the worship of any other gods. But they did not listen. They did not care. They refused to obey. So this provoked God's fierce anger, and His wrath was poured against them. How about us in our daily lives, mga kapatid? Do we heed God's warnings? Or do we insist on doing whatever we wanted to do in clear defiance of God's command? When making important decisions, whose will usually takes priority in our lives? Our will or God's will? At the end of the story, God promised that Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon would come against Egypt. And God promised only a handful of the Jews in Egypt would survive the sword and famine and be able to return to Judah. So what now? Psalm 119 verse 30, it says, "I have chosen the way of faithfulness. I set your rules before me." Let us ask God then to give us a pure and undivided heart, to keep us away from trying to quench our thirst with filthy water from broken cisterns. Rather, continue to draw our hearts to Christ, the all-satisfying wellspring of living water. God bless you all, and thank you.